And it's something so basic as, Achalu. I mean, one of the trending scenes from slangs
Achalugo, I'm going to marry you.
No, the continent already in the 2 weeks since it came out. And that's what I mean by our patience or zokoness and my Iya rainbowness. You see, this is why I always tell Jennifer in a private conversation. I'm like, I wish she could just go and give my talks. Because when she says it, I'm like, that's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, yes.
All right, thank you. So, but what about the people that would argue that, no, I don't know if I agree. Why are you saying we should leave it within here? Is there a response to that?
Oh, yes, there is. First and foremost is that you're also right.
Okay.
You see, we're in the arts. We're not in the sciences. All we have are points of view.
Oh, wow. Clock it.
So this is my point of view about African storytelling. I think it's the correct point of view, but who the hell knows? I could be very wrong. Now, what I'm doing with the Fourth Mainland Creator Funds, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm saying that when I go across the continent, what I hear is not the guys who speak the best English. It's Mark Angel, it's Sam Speddy, it's Odogo Parana.
Yes.
And I'm thinking that we do this thing without effort. We don't even have to do big PR campaigns for these stories to go around, you know. Sometimes, you even be talking, like yesterday at the panel we were with Auntie Joke, I said to Auntie Joke, we have been following her about, and she was saying something, she made reference to an old movie, I think. And we all in the room, we connected with it. There are very few examples of that in modern storytelling. So I think that the facts bear me out, but I'm also ready for anybody who disagrees to go and also invest. As long as we're all investing in African storytelling.
We are moving.
We are moving. But this is what I say. You see, I spent time with all the streamers, spent time in their offices in the US and Europe, and they keep talking, how do we get African stories to travel? How do we get African stories? And I wonder, how did we get Ake and Papa to travel?
Yes.
There was no Netflix.
Yes.
There was no Prime Video. There was no Showmax, but it traveled. It traveled in Germany. It traveled in Amsterdam.
Yes, it traveled everywhere. In England,
Asia,
in America.
It traveled in America. How did we get it to travel? How is Patience Osoko recognizable at the airport in Atlanta? She doesn't have a PR person. Have you met Prophetess Patience Osoko? She doesn't have a PR person. How does she travel? So there is something in our content that already travels organically.
Because of its authenticity.
Because of its authenticity. So it's not an either or, it's a maybe focus more.
I like that.
Yeah, it's not an either or. It's that there is something that we can elevate. There's something. I sent Auntie Joke, Auntie Joke is one of the humblest people you've met. I sent Auntie Joke, I finished watching this movie, Blood Sisters, and I sent Auntie Joke a message about her role, because she had like 2 scenes or 3 scenes. And she was the grandmother, and she was praying for Nancy Simmons' character. I don't know how many of you remember Blood Sisters. And she was praying for Nancy Simmons' character, and I was crying. In my room, I sent her a message, I said, Auntie, this is the most powerful thing I have
Auntie
seen.
Joke.
Auntie Joke, yes. She was telling me it's not her. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Because she disappeared into the role, and she was praying. And I said, there was something about it that I reminded of my own grandmother. And my idea that if everything in my life falls apart, I can just go to the village and my grandmother will take care of me.
And she has your back.
And she has my back. And that scene brought that out.
Oh, wow.
And I think that scene, more than all the modernist things that happen in that film, is more likely to connect with more people.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying, that I was talking to Kenyans and I said, all of these young people are trying to rent rooms in Nairobi to shoot content in Airbnbs, and not enough of them are going to Malindi and Watamu to go and shoot in the villages. You know, they want to be like Mark Angel without doing the thing that Mark Angel is doing. I'm talking about creators. They want to make Omoni Oboli's numbers without looking like what Omoni Oboli is doing. And I say in one of my speeches, I said, well, if we think that the post-production needs to be better, if we think the world building needs to be better, if we think the storytelling needs more time, then that's what we should do. We shouldn't reject the premise.
Yes. Yes.
We should update the cooking of the premise.
Okay, now. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we often feel like we have to choose. It's either or. It's either love in every word, or it is this beautiful film that just won the Cannes award.
The Freedom Way?
Not Freedom Way. My Father's Shadow, which I've watched 3 times in the cinemas. It's not that it has to be either or. It's that there are things that My Father's Shadow does incredibly well. But it may not, because of the way it's made, it may not speak to my mother.
Yes.
But it's an authentic African story.
Yes.
Now, can we take those elements And the films that speak to my mother, can we
and
make them
connect it.
reach that level of technical excellence?
I love
So
it.
that my mother and
Me?
somebody and you can watch the same film.
Yes.
That's what happens. So when that happens, a market expands.
Okay.
Because it attracts both people. It's not an either. It's not, I go to the cinema to watch My Father's Shadow. We're so few. And I'm like, well, I understand why. I've been in this market for 25 years. I understand why. I'm like, is there a way that we can get both audiences to come together? Those who would love the film festivals, those who will love the mass audiences, and that's how the market expands.
Yeah.
They always say, the problem is that Nigerians don't go to the cinemas. I say, who went to watch Ori the Rebirth?
Right.
It's all Nigerians. Who went to watch Ajoshikbo? Who went to watch Eniola Jawo's film last year and this year? It's all Nigerians. It's all Nigerians paying 12,000 naira a pop for the tickets. It's Nigerians who will not come and eat with me at Lagoon Restaurant or wherever, but think this story. So I honestly think that that point of view needs to be more prominent.
Yes.
That
Okay.
there is something we have that nobody else in the world has.
Okay.
And if you
I
can
like it.
elevate that, then our stories, then if you add the the marketing and the distribution to the organic travel that already happened without us trying,
It go make sense.
something magical is going to happen.
It go choke.
Yeah, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I hope somebody was writing that down for me. If you work for me and you didn't write that down, you don't have a job after today. All right.
Yeah.
Very good today. So I have a few questions, but because of time, everybody's talking about funding for their creative stuff. You announced a fund last month.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
God will do his work. But just generally speaking, how does the Fourth Mainland Fund reconcile the tension between preserving the raw cultural truth of a creator's voice and then scaling that voice into commercially viable, globally competitive content?
That's a lot of difficult questions.
Yes.
Okay. You know, what I'm doing is simple. So I have the fund was a $500,000 fund when I announced it because it was my own personal money. I was tired of waiting for anybody. Now we have counted up to $1.1 million because my friends and some institutional investors you are aware of have now come to add to the fund.
Amen.
And if the other person joins, to be a $3 million fund by the end of the year.
Okay, clock it.
Let's see how that goes.
Okay.
But it's for creators. It's for digital creators. It's for people who are producing content on YouTube and TikTok and Twitter and.
So no film.
So it can be filmed, but it's on YouTube.
Oh, I see.
So if it's filmed, it's on YouTube. So it's the kind of things that Omani is doing, which Kadiri is doing, which Nancy is doing, which Mbana, but the kind of things Dick Alfoma, who's one of the most incredible voices from our space, kind of things he's doing. So it's those kind of, it has to be digital because my thesis is that so again, we know that last year Amazon Prime left the market. Well, they're still paying for films, but they stopped commissioning. Netflix left or didn't leave. So we know that all these things happen. But what our creators did was they just kept creating on YouTube. And that's the beauty of YouTube and other disintermediation platforms. That whatever happens with gatekeepers, you can keep creating. Do you understand? So if Netflix signed your film and suddenly they say, we're not going ahead anymore, like Adenike, forget her name, Adenike, who had a film that was supposed to be on Netflix, Netflix actually promoted it. She woke up that on Netflix, said we're no longer doing the film anymore.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And then what Nike did was go on YouTube and place her film. So that's why my thesis is about digital creators, because there you have freedom. You know, yesterday, Omani Boli posted something. YouTube Africa was requesting that she collaborate with them on a post because, of course, she's showing the numbers that they need. So I'm betting on digital creators. Anybody that's creating in a platform that they own. So it might not even be YouTube and TikTok. It might be your own website. It might be that you've decided you're going to distribute with, like we do with Chude. So
I don't trust your website, so I beg.
But if it's that, then we also want to do that. So anybody that's on a digital platform that's creating content primarily for Africans, whose voice respects the African taste, which is why it's my fund. So, because that now is a subjective criterion.
Absolutely.
That depends on how I and the people that we've gotten together see it. I want to fund them. The full fund opens in January. People can sign up on fourthmainland.com to just be aware when it comes out. But we announced a small $10,000 initial fund.
Can I apply? Or
No, you cannot apply. You're too close to me.
Okay.
For AI first creators. And the reason I'm doing that first is because, first of all, everybody's talking about AI. But I see that the way we are doing AI, we're about to make the same mistake. So if you see many of the AI voiceovers, they are foreign-sounding voiceovers. The characters don't look like people we can see on the streets of Oshodi.
Yes, yes.
And so I want to financially incentivize the creators to begin to be realistic in their portrayals.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we've been reviewing some of we've gotten hundreds of entries for the AI fund. So that's the first fund that we're doing. So that's what the Creator Fund is doing. It's saying if you are in control of your destiny financially, and you can do stories that connect with
Africa.
thousands of people across Africa, then I want to bet on you financially.
I love that. Who is applying? They're like, oh, no, not really. Okay.
No, I saw some people writing down on the website.
Oh, okay, well, there it is. Well, thank you. Okay, I have two more, and then we can wrap it up.
Right.
So, talking about authentic voices, I mean, one of the people that I know personally that uses his authentic voice is who? Guess who? You. Come on. So how important is... No, that wasn't the question.
Right.
So, using our authentic voices, how do you have the audacity to always go into our creative spaces, whether it's with Chude, which is a household name now. When you started it, many people were in podcasting, at least not podcasting those type of conversations, and you had the audacity to do it. And then now we're talking about Fourth Mainland, and you're saying, I want to fund, but people who are telling intentional stories. So what happens in your head that gives you the audacity to say, no, I know it's more popular for me to be doing this, but I want to do this and I'm standing by it. How do you think through it and then become Chude?
I'm a child of my forebears. I'm not just doing this because she's in the room. I talk about her when she's not in the room. You know, the first interview that made us go viral was my interview with Auntie Joke Silva.
I know.
Yeah. But made us go authentic viral. And I wasn't expecting it, you know. And I tell the story in the book, my new book that just came out. Actually, a chapter is dedicated to the story. You know, because until they don't know the backstory of that and how you didn't even want that interview to go out in the first place. And so I tell the story. And someone said, how do you have that rapport with Auntie Joke? I said, first, I have skill, but also I've known Auntie Joke for 20 years. I have a picture of Auntie Joke when she was our guest on New Dawn with Fumi Yonda.
Wow, you were a boy.
When I was a boy.
Oh, wow.
I'm talking about my forebears. You know, one of my aunties who is in the room, Lilian Agbaso, hired me as a 16-year-old to produce her show called I was working on Health Matters and another show at the same time. And
at 16? At
16 or 17. I started working at the age of 15. I just came from...
What was I doing at 15?
I just came from Dr. Ruben Abati's book launch and I remember I was a 15, 16, 17-year-old, and I would just sit down and listen to Dr. Abati, Eniola Bello, you know, Shegun Adeniyi, and they would talk about Nigeria, Dele Alake, you know, and I would listen. And I would listen, I would think, these guys carry stories. And there's such a depth of understanding of Nigeria and Africa that they carry that I don't hear this in the world. Okay. And I used to be a listener. I listen a lot. On my show, people talk about, on my show, I listen. That's why the show is what it is, because I'm just listening. And I love what I hear. You know, I almost want to say, I spent, when I went to interview Uncle Peter Doche, we spent a day in his house. First of all, he told me I had to go and buy him a cow. We bought an actual cow before starting that interview.
Oh, my God.
Then we bought cola nuts. Then he prayed. Then he sat on his throne, and I sat on my chair, and he was telling me stories. And each of those stories were magic to me. And so I consider myself cooked in Nigerian storytelling traditions. I consider myself a student of Nigerian experiences. I grew up watching Nigerian TV alone, listening to Nigerian music alone. That doesn't mean any other person's experience is invalid.
Yes.
So I have a strong point of view. You know, I have stories I do want to tell. I want to tell people about Video 10 and Comfort Okoronko. I want to tell them about Mazin Perempe, who I watched when growing up on NTA. I want to tell them about songs and adverts. I want to tell them about music that they didn't know about. I want to tell them about things that have been, I want to tell them about Chris Okotie's and the song that he sang and why This Medicine Is What You Need is one of the hit songs. There's so many things that
You're so old.
I'm so young at the same time.
Oh my God.
So I feel like the experiences that I carry because of the age that I grew up in and the time that I lived in and the fact that there was no capturing of these experiences at that time, I feel a burden.
Wow.
I feel a burden. I just did put a post. I was talking about people think that Nollywood doesn't have a philosophy. But when I sat down with Teko Benson, I sat down with Ifeanyi Ikwenyi, and I sat down with Zixulu Okafor as a 17-year-old, they were telling me their philosophies. If you sat down with Amaka Igwe, she was an entire school.
Wow.
And so I feel a burden to share those ideas with the world.
Wow.
With Africans, with Nigerians, with young people.
Wow.
And I consider myself privileged to have a popular show, to have some resources through which I can now push that point of view.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
I tell people that some of the iconic things, there's so many iconic things that have happened in our lives. I don't want to list them, but I feel like because I am lucky that I was there throughout that time, because I was lucky, it's like when Onyeko Wenu passed. I thought my job was to tell people why she's important. I thought, let them know that before that they tried to erase Stella Monye, they tried to erase Christy Etienne Ibokwe, they tried to erase all these people. Onyeka is one of the only ones that stood.
Wow.
And the same Nigeria that tried to kill Onyeka will come for you as a woman.
Wow.
It will come unless you know why they tried to silence her. And I thought because I was a 15-year-old who started working early, and I was listening to these stories, and a lot of people don't know those stories, don't know those perspectives, don't know those points of views, I feel a burden to bring that to life. So one of the interviews that went viral was Stanley Okorie, the one that sang that sang all the Nollywood soundtracks. I'm like, my show is one of the only shows where you will see Stanley Okorie on a podcast. Because the younger people, it's not their fault. They don't even know Stanley Okorie.
Yes.
And when I say younger people, they're even my age.
Yes.
They don't know Stanley Okorie. But I remember seeing them and thinking, who is the guy that sang the song for Chain Reactions, and then sang Conspiracy, and then sang Not Your Wealth, and they all came out the same week. He must be a genius, And I want to tell those stories. I feel a deep need to tell those stories. And the digital space gives us the capacity to tell most of those stories. And I feel like if we don't do that, Auntie Joke said something powerful yesterday. She said she has lived through different eras of our industry. I said that young people don't know that this industry can die tomorrow. I say to them, if we don't learn and understand how we got here, we can lose this entire thing. We think, when we hear people say it has never been done before, I'm like, oh, money. You say it has never been done before because you were not here. Let me now tell you that it has been done before. So I feel like we do need to, because this story is so important. I'm sorry I'm talking too much, but quickly this. When I went to In My Father's Shadows, I thought, bless him for capturing June 12th. Because if not, nobody would have. We don't know. And I want to know. I want us to know. And so it's very important that we tell those stories and that we fund the people that are telling those stories so the entire generation doesn't repeat the mistakes of their fathers and their mothers.
That is powerful.
It's so, so important.
Yes, thank you, Chude. My last one, so we can wrap up.
Yeah.
How can today's creators resist performance for the algorithm and stay anchored in meaning? Thank you, ma.
No. I think this is one of those sessions where the person asks the question is even the star of the session, and I love it. Look, I think we have to have a point of view. Look, we have to have, this is what I mean. There are too many, because of the poverty in Nigeria, there are too many of us that just do it because we want to make money. We don't believe in what we're doing. We don't believe it. We don't believe what we're doing. We don't even wake up every morning and say, these are the kind of stories I want. There's something they clearly want to say. I say my show with Chude, and I tell the story in my new book that comes out. My story with Chude came because I got depressed. I was diagnosed of clinical depression. I had left Nigeria, gone to America, said I didn't want to do this country and this life anymore. The things I learned when I was in America one day, and I said it instead, I was watching a Nigerian event, and I said, you know what, no, I want to come back home and talk about what I've gone through. I want to tell them that we can be happy even in the midst of the poverty, that there are things that make us special that we can use to tell our own stories. So with Chude didn't come because when I tell people with Chude was the first podcast that started going viral when it comes to interviews. And it wasn't because it was planned. It wasn't because things were going viral. So I'm like, oh, let me come and take advantage of the podcast mania. Just because I had a story that was burning in my heart to tell. And I remember, you know, for 2 years I had those interviews, I didn't release them. Because I kept thinking nobody's going to watch, they want skits. Nobody's going to watch, they want action movies. And I released it not because I thought it was going to succeed. I released it because I thought it was necessary to tell the story. And then the success happened after that. I remember I used to sit down with Kemi Adetiba, who used to be one of the hottest TV presenters in the country. People don't know that. And Kemi is like, I think we can tell action films. We can do action films in this country. And I'm like, Kemi, we cannot do it. She's like, Judy, we can do it. And she said she was going to go to the New York Film Academy. She had a clear point of view. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't, oh, now is the time for a movie. So when she came, she made Nigerians stop doing comedies and start doing action movies. The people that are important have a clear point of view. They have a thing that makes them wake up in the morning and say, I want to change the world in this way. I want to change my community in this way. I want to change my peers in this way. So I think that the job is not for us to let poverty confuse us.
Hello.
For us to not let poverty cover our eyes. For us to see clearly that thing we are looking for, that glory we are looking for, that success we are looking for, it can actually come better if our point of view is strong. We know why we are telling stories. We know how we are showing up in the world, and we don't let anybody else distract us. What the trends are doing, what the box office is saying, we say, no, there's a story I want to tell, and I'm going to tell it. I think that when we begin to do that, when more of us, now we're too scattered, just a few people doing that, when more of us begin to do that, this industry, the entire creative industry, when we finally have something that we want to say, and there are a lot of us who are powerful in our saying it.
Yes.
The world will see us burn.
Love it.
Right now, what they are seeing from us is just what happens when people are doing their very least.
Yes.
When we begin to burn, South Korea will have nothing, absolutely nothing on us.
That is fantastic. Okay, quick takeaway. Number one, be authentic. Even though it sounds like, oh, authentic. No, that is what makes us us. Stop trying to be an American in Nigeria. Drop the accent. Stop telling me you are in New York when you are in Obalende. Keep it 100. So that's one. Number two, it's okay to get those views and those numbers and all of that. But if you're not being real, or if you're not pursuing a cause that you're passionate about, you go tire.
Yes, that's it.
Find a way to mix the trend or whatever you want, virality or whatever, with the chudeness. Yes? Because I can't imagine Chude doing a show where he's talking about hot topics. What are people wearing? Like, I'll just be laughing at home. It'll just be ridiculous. So do that. And then the Mainland Fund, these are the creatives that Chude and his team are willing or are interested in helping and supporting. You can be that person. Somebody in your family or your friend can be that person. And overall, we are all going to push the creator economy forward. Yeah. Does that sound like a good summary? All right. Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Question. Oh, sorry. I was looking at the time. Okay. Maybe one or two if they permit. Okay.
Hello, my name is Juliana Okereke. I'm an actor. And my question basically is on authentic voices. I've been to a set where the director wants you to be authentic. do the Nigerian theme. Act the Nigerian way. The hand raising, the voicing, being able to project and all that. Where the way our mothers, our sisters would do is when you are angry and stuff. But then I've also been to a set where they'll be like, we want you to be subtle. You need to be soft. You need to be. And then it becomes difficult being authentic. What is authenticity when it's demanded in different forms?
That's such a powerful question. I love, I love when people give me difficult questions. Like, you have been saying all this, your English. Now, let's make it practical. I think that, again, authenticity is can be subjective. And that's why I'm very clear at saying, this is my point of view, this is my voice, this is what I believe. So, on that level, if you're not enter an argument of this is authentic, often, in practical sets, it can be a problem. But this is what I believe authenticity is. Can you recognize this character in the real world? That's what I mean by authentic. That means that sometimes Nigeria's confused accent is authentic because of our post-colonial history. Do you understand? So people speak like that.
Yes.
If we can recognize that character in that context,
Yes.
then that's authentic. It's like sometimes I say to people, yes, I recognize every screaming Shola Shobowale character because those were my mothers and my aunties. But those were not all mothers and all aunties.
That was not my mother.
Exactly. So if you're talking about a film about Jennifer's mother, then it needs to reflect.
Absolutely.
But if you're talking about a film that's trying to... So that's what I mean, that in different contexts, authenticity reflects differently. Yeah. The problem I often face is that you cannot recognize the character in the film. So this character is located in Onitsha. I can never met a person in Onitsha that thinks like this. Exactly. They can't possibly think like this because this never happened in Onitsha.
Exactly.
Unless it's a futuristic story.
Exactly.
You understand? So there are things like that if you're trying to reflect reality, so there are times where subtlety is necessary in the film. The problem is that most times, I feel like you're struggling, but most times the director's vision is not clear.
It's not aligned. There you go. That's what I was about to say.
The director's vision is not clear.
Yes.
So the director is trying to force a lot of things into their 6-day shoots with no time for reshoots, which is an economic problem. You know? So sometimes when I'm watching a Nigerian movie, I'm just saying, I understand. There was no time for retake. Yeah. I understand. You have to forgive because you understand. So that might be the struggle. Now, the beauty of it would be, this is why film school is important. Film school is not just about, that's why it's important. Because the beauty of it, if the director was self-aware that this thing I did was just a compromise, I haven't told this story well enough, then the director can go and improve on their craft by the next film. Unfortunately, we don't do that mostly here. Yeah. So that's where the authenticity gets missing. You know, we don't have a clear vision of the story.
Well, thank you, Chude. Yeah. Just really quickly, as a filmmaker myself, I understand what you're saying. And indeed, two things can be right at the same time. If I'm hanging out with my girlfriends and running around with my kids, of course I'm scattered. But if I'm sitting here in front of you, I have to be poised. And, you know, so it depends on the script, it depends on the message. A woman can be crazy at home with her husband when he cheated on her and still go to a meeting in the same script and be sophisticated. So there's nothing wrong with doing both or whatever you were trying to say. But I know he answered most of it. Yeah? All right, thank you. I don't know how much time we have. Okay. The mic, ma.
Thank you for the young lady. It's the fact that, you know, as an actor, our skills need to be honed, and when we're looking at characters that have all the gesticulation and all that, there's a skill to it, because you need to be able to repeat those gestures for the editor. For the editor. And there's this lady, sometimes if you watch Yai Rainbow, in fact, she's excellent at it.
Yes.
She's excellent at it. There's another lady that I know from the Yoruba film industry as well. Yeah. There is no scene, every single gesture that she did in scene 1, she will repeat in scene. She will repeat in take 10. In take 10. They are that good, you know. So we also have to be the same. And then Yes. So and then of course what they did say as well, which is the fact that it's as actors too, we mustn't forget to study people. It's in the studying of the people that we
Yeah, you
then
can
get what he
reflect.
said
Yes.
about the character. We can then reflect.
Yes. Thank you, ma. From a legend, free consultation. Okay.
That's why I mentioned Iyarembo. I think that we miss the craft. When King of Thieves and Jago Jago took over the world, I've said, but of course, Oga Bello was behind it. What do you think has been happening? What do you think they've been doing in the Odu Fakokos? What do you think has been happening? Our filmmakers, our forebears are artists in the deepest sense, especially in the Yoruba filmmaking tradition. You know, and so when you observe them, you're observing art in motion. You know, you're observing technique. You're observing, you know, it's just beautiful.
Yes.
Iyarembo is one of our brightest, most brilliant acting icons with so much for people to learn from her.
Yes. All right. Well,
I know she wanted to ask a question.
another question. Yeah. What?
Oh, okay. I love those kind of people.
It's up to you.
The one-liner. Okay, I was told that Nigerian movie could never go for Grammy.
Go for what?
Sorry, for an Oscar.
Okay.
Because we don't act the way the Hollywood people act. That we do Nigerian things a lot. So it's not as soft as
No.
Hollywood. So I want to know why is that? I don't understand the saying. So that's why I
No,
wanted
that's
to throw
just
the
a.
question at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you want to answer that?
It's coming from a director from what's it called? From this British. So he was like, Nigerians could never go for an Oscar because of the way they act.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to say, but that's an opinion.
Exactly.
That's an opinion.
Exactly.
And it's okay. So, there's something that the late iconic founder of the Amas said on Arise TV. She said the Oscars, like an international award, are political. They are political. Awards are political. The Oscars, the Grammy. But political doesn't mean that it's bad. It means that they have a point of view and they operate within a system.
Yeah.
This is my opinion and it could be controversial. First and foremost, we have not fine-tuned our craft. It's what Auntie Joke said about Iyarembo-ness. Auntie Joke captured what I'm trying to say about Iyarembo-ness. That means that thing Auntie Joke just explained about Iyarembo needs to be codified as an acting discipline for other young people to learn from.
Absolutely.
That's the first thing. The directors of old, their style, and the people used to do film in the 80s and the 70s, we need to understand their crafts because it used to travel internationally and then codify it for a new generation. So that's the first problem, that we are not operating at the highest level of our authentic voice. So there's nothing wrong with the voice. It's the decibel of the voice.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That's the first thing. Yeah? The second thing is that even at that level, the Oscars are not an African prize.
Come on now.
Which means that we may have to wrestle them down the way Afrobeat wrestled the Grammys, for the Grammys to now create that category, not because we are less than, but because we are equal to. That means the Grammys is saying that there is an Afrobeat sound. It doesn't sound like anything we know. We cannot really put it to compete with Bruce Springsteen.
Or Chris
Not
Brown.
because it's inferior, but because it's different. But it's excellent.
In its own right.
So we have to create a category for it. That's how it's done. And I believe that when our filmmakers begin to have the confidence of the Wizkids and the Don Jazzys, when our filmmakers have the audacity of a Burna Boy to say, put my name in bigger capitals on that flyer, or I'm not showing up for Coachella.
Yep.
You know, when our filmmakers have that we need to stop this, I beg, help me. We want our stories to travel, help me. Which is what we do at film festival, which is what we do at interviews, this is what we do. When we have the confidence, then I will operate at the highest level of excellence, what is already good. So take the Iyarembo example. We take Iyarembo, it's like Lionheart. when Genevieve was doing Lionheart, she went to find the people that have been doing this for a long time. You know, Nkemo and all of those. And then we elevated it with the finest filmmaking. So it's that Iyaremboness. We'll take that, we'll do it at the level of excellence, we'll continue doing it for a consistent period of time, and then the guys will say, guys, something is happening in Nollywood. It's not a fad. It's technically and procedurally excellent. It deserves to be respected like country music.
Absolutely.
And I think that's how we're going to break into that market.
I love it.
It's not going to be best international feature.
Nope.
It's going to be something that surrenders to the Nigerian character.
Come on, Chude.
And
Come
the people
on.
are going to say, we need to celebrate that.
Yes.
That's when film becomes a discipline.
Yes.
Our film is not yet a discipline.
Yes.
We don't study it, we don't understand it, we don't celebrate, we don't understand. I remember I was listening to Tosi Ugbeye, one of the acting greats, teaching about passing the ball
All
to
these
students
names.
20 years ago, and I was thinking, we don't even know these things. So until our filmmaking becomes our filmmaking, not filmmaking as we were taught it. And there's nothing wrong with some of the things we were taught. We have to import those things. But when our filmmaking becomes a discipline, like Afrobeats is a discipline,
Yes. Yes.
then the world will revolve
Yes.
around it.
Yes. Yes.
And then we can be on the Oscar stage. Or we will not even need the Oscars
Yes.
because we will have our own.
Own stage. Yes.
That's the
Yes.
answer.
Okay. That's. Woo! Good God. There is no better way to end it. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me, and today is such a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank
Oh
you
my
for
God,
being
I
a fantastic
interviewed you. Oh my God. I'll put it on my resume.
Thank you so much.
And buy my book. It's out in bookstores. How Depression Saved My Life. You know, stories of Auntie Joke are there. Stories of everybody else is there. Go and buy. Thank you.
Please, can we give our panelists another round of applause? So many gems. So many gems. So we'll take a minute for pictures. And please don't go anywhere. Our next panel is starting now. Our panelists are around. So we'll just take pictures and then we'll go right into the next panel. Thank you.